Howdy. I'm sorry to the people who I told I would alert the next time I went live, but I just got a few minutes here, so I just wanted to hop on. So most of you will be probably watching this later and don't know that I'm doing this right now. If you don't get notifications for these, I don't exactly know how that works. So, but I think that you should get notifications when I go live. And in the future, I do plan on announcing it before I go live in on my Instagram and my Twitter. So if you want to follow me on there and get notifications, I believe it's Kate_Awakening. And I'll try to be better about announcing it first. But I just wanted to hop on here because I had a few minutes and just some funny things. So, oh, okay, my title did. So, okay, one of the things that came up today when I was doing my the radio show was actually a story that I don't really exactly know when it happened, but I know that I found out about it sometime last year, and I thought it was really funny. And I have a link to it down below. And it was this story where I guess Shia Labeouf had some camera that I'm not like very clear on the first part of it. I think he had a camera set up somewhere in either New York or New Mexico, where he wrote above it, "He will not divide us," I guess talking about Donald Trump. And it was this like live camera that was supposed to get people's reactions to that or whatever. And something happened with that. It kept getting messed with. I think he actually like accosted somebody in front of the camera. Shia Labeouf did. So that was like, really great for his message. So anyway, he ended up taking those cameras down, and then he ended up putting up a flag in an undisclosed location with a camera pointed up to it, and then this YouTube channel that was set to broadcast it, 24/7, and it was supposed to stay up for all of Trump's presidency, and this flag that said, "He will not divide us," or whatever. So this is just one of my favorite stories about the Anons, and I think this actually took place on 4chan, not 8chan, and it was on poll. So yes, I know this is old news, but I'm getting there. There's a reason why I'm telling this story. And plus, some people might not have heard of this before. I've told a few people this week who follow Q and know about all of this stuff and had never heard about this before. So I'm gonna tell the story. So anyway, so he put this flag up in an undisclosed location, and the Anons on 4chan, I think, kind of were like, all right, game on. And they started to put together, I guess, by airplanes going back. Well, first, like by the sunset, they were able to decide like that it was on the East Coast, and then they were tracking flight patterns and star charts and all this stuff. And they were able to find the flag within like 3 or 4 days, I believe. And they took the flag down and put up a MAGA hat instead. But it's just that kind of, that's insane to me. So I bring it up because not only is that a really funny story, I love that story, but also because it has to do with a couple other things that I want to talk about on here today. One is that another thing that I have linked below is the, there was the contrails. It was the flight patterns. There was a star chart that they were going by. It was weather patterns, and then they started to, and then they found out that he was in a particular location. They were like, oh, he was probably there when the flag was raised, and so they started to just kind of zero in. I believe at one point they were sending people around honking horns so they could be like, oh, I hear the horn in the live feed. You're getting closer. So anyway, this is a few days old from Neon Revolt, but I wanted to talk about it just because it's really funny. And I put the link down below too. So some nine-ball, I don't know who he is, but basically he got busted going on to 8chan, posting anti-Semitic memes himself, and then switching over to a different IP address to like argue with himself and be like, hey, you can't do that. And like went over to Twitter and showed a screenshot of it to be like, hey, you know, look at all the anti-Semitism that's going on the 8chan boards. And he fully got busted. So it's really funny. The whole thing is in Neon Revolt's thing that I have linked below. But I guess one of the things that was happening not too long ago, Q actually called out something called the MAGA Coalition. I had never heard of them before. I don't know. But if Q calls them out, then I have reason to think that they're probably not so dope. And so that happened not too long ago. I remember when that, whatever. Actually, I have been absent from Twitter. I go on there just very rarely because I've been busy. When I was first reading about Q and everything, Twitter was one of my main sources to get information, and now I just don't go on there. And like now that I see all this infighting, like I was saying the other day, and it reminds me of when I was little, I was absent from school all the time, and I would come back and like there would be these just like, oh, we can't sit with that person anymore, and I just didn't get it. And that's how I feel when I go to Twitter now, and I see a lot of people getting attacked that I trust, and just negative things about them. And one of them is Praying Medic, and I've actually linked to him before in a couple of my videos, the Q videos, because I think he puts out really great information. And also one of the things I've always really liked about him is that he kind of comes from a position of saying like, this is just, you know, this is just what it looks like to me. What does it look like to you? He doesn't try to push a narrative ever, it feels like. And I don't know, I think he's trustworthy. So I see a lot of people coming out against him, and a lot of these, and saying that he's got connections to this MAGA coalition or whatever, because he's got pictures with them, and maybe he used to be associated with them. Or, you know how many dingbats I have taken pictures with in my life, and I would really hope that that would not mean that I was like in cahoots with them. In fact, I was even being targeted as being in cahoots with these people because I linked Praying Medic in my videos. So it's all just very wacky. And like I said before, just, you could follow all of the information. If you feel like you can trust somebody, then trust them. And if they start doing things that make you not trust them, then don't trust them anymore. But it's going to take a little bit more than just like an old picture with some people to make me turn against him. You know, try harder. And again, like if there is something suspicious that somebody can show me, or that, you know, goes around or whatever, I'm more than willing to say, okay, I've given up on bigger allegiances than that, you know, since following Q. So I'm capable of doing that, but I just don't see it just because he's been in pictures with these people. I still trust him. Anyway, so these people were attacking him. These people were attacking him on Twitter. They posted something, it's in the Neon Revolt article, a link to, he was on Bill Mitchell's show talking to him, and they're saying he's threatening people, because what he said was actually like the same exact thing that I said in one of my first videos about Q, is that be careful, these Anons are scary. They can well, not scary, I mean, they're not showing like beating anybody's door down or like, you know, vigilante justice, but like if you've got some public stuff out there that's incriminating, or they can, you know, whatever, they're gonna dig on you. Actually, a really good friend of mine put it perfectly the other day. He said that the Anons were like the Wookiees, where like you feel really great that like they're on your side or whatever, but you also are very humbled in the fact that at any moment they could just tear you limb from limb. And I thought that was perfect. But obviously not literally tear you limb from limb. They're just good at digging up information on people. So basically that's just what he said on Bill Mitchell's show, was just like, hey, you want to go after these people, just, you know, basically be careful. They are very capable individuals. And they're saying that he's threatening people. That's not threatening to me. I don't believe that's threatening. Like if you were in class and behaving like a knucklehead, and somebody turns to you and says, hey, watch out, the teacher's going to see you and put you in detention, that's not threatening somebody, that's warning them. Anyway, these people have like videos or tweet saying, watch his eyes in this video, like he's this like sinister individual. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret in case you didn't know this. I'm sure most of you do. But when people are thinking and they're searching their mind for information, they tend to look up and to the right. And it can be different for different people. So typically if you look up and to the right when you're searching your memory, like if I were to ask you, what did you have for breakfast this morning? You might be like, oatmeal. But if you are making something up, you will look to the other direction. Anyway, eyes move when you are speaking. So, and actually, I believe the more intelligent you are, the more you blink and sad. Anyway, so they're going after him saying that he was like threatening these people. Watch the video for yourselves. He definitely is not threatening. In fact, he literally says, I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying that, you know, these people, this is what they do. And I think that Shia Labeouf video pretty much proves it. Anywho, this, what's his name? I already forgot. This Doug Stewart dude, goes on to 8chan and starts to post these really horrific memes, like anti-Semitic memes. Actually, so what happens is he posts a screenshot, right? So he's obviously going back and forth between these two IP addresses. Because 8chan is anonymous, but you get assigned a certain number, I forgot what it's called, when you post, and that'll be reoccurring. So he obviously forgot to log out of that one when he was arguing with himself. And when you respond in a little green letters, it says you next to it. And so that was the screenshot he took, and he totally outed himself for being the one that posted these awful things. Then you can go to that number and it says 17 next to it, and you can click on that and you can see all the things that person has posted. So it wasn't just this one anti-Semitic meme. He posted a bunch of really terrible things, including, I believe, like some terrible picture of like a dismembered child or something. Anyway, to take it to Twitter and be like, look at these awful people and what they're saying and what they're doing. Not only to make himself a hero, but to, you know, to control the narrative, right, of what is actually happening on 8chan, but also like what these Q people are up to. And it reminded me of when I was new to Q, there was actually a subreddit that was called The Great Awakening, I think. And I loved that because to me, Reddit was so much more user-friendly than 8chan. And it was a great way to get information and, you know, decodes and whatever. And I was on there for months, you know, that was like my go-to place to research. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I started seeing some really awful posts from people. And believe me, I am all for, like I said, words escape me. I am all for free speech, right? So I believe idiots will out themselves, right? There is a reason that the Ku Klux Klan have to wear those dumb hoods, right? But, you know, it definitely was not fitting. It was like, okay, these people don't seem to belong here. And if you follow Q and you follow Q for a while, it's very clear that the message here is about unity and all this stuff, and all of these gross things and like vigilante justice or whatever that's just not it. It's not it. So when all of these voices out of nowhere that just didn't seem like they belonged popped up, it was kind of suspicious. And then lo and behold, not too long after that, the entire subreddit got taken down. Very convenient. So, you know, this obviously happens on 8chan too. And on 8chan, you can post literally anything as long as it's legal. So, you know, I think anybody that's really kind of a part of the Q community and has been paying attention for a while can kind of spot these people. It does not seem organic. They do not seem like they belong there. It really does seem like these people just pop up in order to make the rest of the group look bad. And so I've always had my suspicions that things like this happen, but this guy got caught doing it. I mean, What a 9-ball, right? That's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed for him. I'm so embarrassed for him. That's so funny. So, I mean, obviously, I don't think this guy invented this notion, right? Maybe in like 1991, he and Jussie Smollett went to the same villain sleepaway camp where they learned how to stroke their beards and stage hoaxes to make their enemies look bad. But anyway, that's just like what we're dealing with. And I thought those were two very funny stories. So that's really all oh yeah, and like they're all into doxing and I really haven't, I mean, I don't know. There are a couple people that seem to be popping up a lot. I don't even want to say their names because I don't really care to call attention to them, but some people that are just popping up kind of going after a lot of these Q people. But like I said, if they want to be effective, they need to try a lot harder because it's not so good just because somebody took a picture with someone. So yeah, that was that. There were also other important things that I forgot that I wanted to talk about. Oh, the Devin Nunes referrals are interesting, but I've already lost my article on that. I'll link it below. But 8 referrals. If I were you, I'd look, if you haven't seen it already, look up his interview from this morning. That was very interesting. And that was all I really felt like. I'm glad to see there are some people in here. So people are getting notifications for these live things, I am assuming. You like my podcast. Thank you. I don't know, this isn't a podcast, is it? People could just listen. I would rather just listen than have to look at me. I look at myself and I'm like, is that what I look like? It's very goofy. This whole thing is very goofy. Oh, the board owner resignation. I did see that, but I don't know enough about that to really talk about it. Do you have any theories on that? Because I did think it was interesting, but from what I saw, it was for, personal reasons. He had other things that he had to do. Basically, the owner of the 8chan board, the research board, right, resigned today. I don't really get it. I don't know why that is important or what it really means, but I know a lot of people were talking about that. I did see a lot of people talking about that. What else? Anything interesting? I kind of peeped up and saw some questions. I keep seeing somebody ask a question about FEMA camps. That's something I looked into a long time ago, and it's very frightening. I would just suggest looking into that yourselves, but I have to wonder why they would need shackles on buses and a bunch of other ominous things that I don't even remember at this point. Oh, popularity contest. Isn't that kind of funny in like an anonymous world though? I mean, I guess these people, like you can be anonymous without being anonymous. Like for example, there are people in here that I recognize and that I have conversations with. I don't know their real names or anything about them, but I would also still kind of consider them friends because we've had interactions and I recognize them. My day-to-day is good. I'm still very crispy from the sun. I've been spending a lot of time outdoors. It's been very beautiful where I am. And are the board owners not anonymous to each other then? That's all kind of outside of my paid grade, I believe. I like can barely 8chan, barely. But oh yeah, Discord. That again, Discord is another thing that I just like couldn't. I gave up. I gave up on Discord. I really miss the Reddit. That made me so sad, and it's so stupid. Censorship is so stupid. And I liked how like the important things would rise to the top because there were, obviously, repeat posts. Everybody would hop on there and post about the same thing at the same time. And decoding is hard. Although it does get easier. It does get easier. I mean, it's like anything. It's like a language. You know, once you know all the acronyms and stuff that Q uses, it gets a lot easier. But that's why, in some regards, I think that people that are new to Q have more of an uphill battle because they don't have, first of all, they have a lot to catch up on. When I first learned about Q, it was February of 2018. And so Q had only really been posting for a few months at that point. So I had a lot of digging to do to catch up. But then once I was caught up, it was like, cool, I was getting all the information as everybody else was getting it. And I was getting the decodes at the same time everybody else was. Now I think somebody just learning about it, really, that's quite an undertaking to have to go through all of this. And they don't, I mean, but actually there are better people out there talking about it. And now I'm afraid to give my opinion on who to look at because who knows. But I kind of feel like my intuitions are pretty good. I don't think that any of the people that I've linked, I mean, again, I don't pay super attention to why everybody hates each other now or whatever, but the people that I've linked in my Q videos, not just the YouTubers, but, you know, people on Twitter and stuff that put out news blasts and are really good at keeping up with the information that comes out almost daily and sometimes multiple times daily. You know, if any of them turns out to be a creepazoid, whatever, you guys are all adults, probably, most likely. But, you know, I think if you're smart enough to start looking into this stuff, you're smart enough to make your own decisions on who to follow and why. Oh, have I had any crazy synchronicities during my awakening process? This is fun. I love this stuff. So it got to the point where the synchronicities happening, well, first of all, even before I started looking into Q, the number 17 has been popping up in my life non-stop. And it's really ridiculous. Almost every single car I pull behind will have a 17 or whatever in their license plate and, you know, dumb things. I got the key to my new mailbox and it was mailbox 17 and whatever, just a bunch of little things. But I do think that when you start to tune into that stuff, it becomes very apparent that the universe is trying to tell you something. And, you know, it could just be that once you start to notice something, you notice it more. Obviously, you know, when you're cognizant of something, you will pay attention to it more. But just really funny things. Actually, I told this, yeah, and 17 is this, or Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. So I definitely, you know, related to Q. But once I just decided to do this YouTube channel, it kind of came up. I was with a bunch of people at this really great weekend and a lot of people that are into Q and into the Great Awakening and talk about all of this great stuff, you know, have either YouTube channels or really great Instagrams or whatever. And I was the nobody at the table and everybody kind of turned to me and was like, no, Kate, why don't you do this? And I was like, I don't know. I had thought about it, but I also feel very goofy about just sitting here having a YouTube channel, let's be honest. And I do tweet and I have a personal Twitter that I don't really use anymore, but nobody pays attention to me on there. Nobody cares. So anyway, ever since I decided to do the YouTube channel, the synchronicities and all of these signs that I was getting were very ridiculous. One is that I have a friend who helps me. He does not want his name or face attached to this for obvious reasons, obviously the same reason that the Anons are anonymous. But he helps me in a million different ways and with my research and stuff like that. And even just, you know, even just motivationally, he's worth his weight in gold and has helped me helped me into doing this. So he was a friend that I had made online just because we both research Q, and he knew, you know, that's how we started talking, and we would send each other links back and forth and be like, you know, have you seen this yet or whatever. So he wasn't somebody that I knew in person yet. He was just, you know, my online friend. And long story short, just like how the us working together came together was very synchronous. It was almost like I like sent him subliminally this message that I wanted to work with him. And then that night he texted me out of nowhere. And this is not somebody that he messaged me. We didn't have each other's phone numbers. He messaged me out of nowhere. We're just like, hey, so I know this is really weird, but like if you ever decide to do something like that, I would love to help you. So that was really cool. And I got cut off by a box truck while I was driving with a giant Q on the back. You know, a lot of these things I think, you know, make to people that don't believe in synchronicities, whatever, you sound like a lunatic. And especially because I do think that these things are so personal. Like, I think that once you get these synchronicities, they really are personal, but you just laugh. You just have to laugh. Oh, and I have a Q shirt. The day I decided to do, it was after that weekend. And so my mom had been staying at my house, and my mom likes to do my laundry when she stays here. And so she had like reorganized my t-shirt drawer. And I have a Q t-shirt that I got forever ago that I like to wear to the gym. And like, yeah, I'm doing something. I'm helping. I'm like that Ralphie meme with his finger up his nose. I'm helping. That's how I was spreading the word before I had my YouTube channel. I would wear my Q shirt to the gym. Anyway, she had folded it in a way that as soon as I opened the drawer when I got home, after I made the decision to do this YouTube channel, just said, the storm is here. Perfectly, as if she couldn't have lined it up better if she tried. So that was another just like dumb whatever. I see that everybody is saying that it's buffering. Sorry. I don't know how that works for playback. Hopefully it won't do that during the playback. But anyway, I'm super into synchronicities. And yeah, my friend who works on this channel with me, we are like texting each other back and forth literally all day long, just laughing about, for him, it's a different number. It's 333 or 444. And for me, it's 17. And just like all day, every day, we're getting these. And like he messaged me one time with one of them. We were on the phone. And then I was like, we were getting off the phone. I was like, okay, I'll call you in 15 minutes when another synchronicity comes up or whatever. We were laughing about that. Got off the phone with him. I called and I ordered Chinese food. And when the woman's like, okay, it'll be done in 17 minutes. Who says that? 20 minutes or 15 minutes? Who says, okay, your food will be ready in 17 minutes? It's wacky, right? But I believe in that stuff for sure. And I've read a couple books on it, and I'm totally into it. I love it. I believe that universe is speaking to me. I believe I'm not special. And I believe that Q sent that box truck to cut me off and almost end my life, to to let me know that they are behind me in this. Kate has beautiful hair for Joe Biden to sniff. He's creepy. Creepy Joe Biden. I do kind of love how I'm seeing, you know, everybody's kind of getting that. Everybody's kind of getting that he's a creep. That's definitely a non-partisan issue. I did see something funny the other day that was like, Joe Biden isn't creepy, he's just affectionate. And then somebody responded, they were like, yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't creepy, he was just hungry. Oh boy. Oh, and then when I made my first Q video, when I was done editing it, it came to 17 minutes and 17 seconds. And I had joked with my friend who I do this with, I was like, whatever we do, like, we have to make sure that every video is 17 minutes, which I was obviously kidding about because that would be like impossible to do. And then I make my first video and it's 17 minutes and 17 seconds. I dare you to go back and look. It was really something. And it was right after I had decided, like, impromptu, I just ended up putting in that clip of O.J. Simpson at the end. And then I was like, should I put this? And then the second I saw that plus what I had already equaled 1717, I was like, yep, I guess OJ's staying. I guess he's sleeping over. That's gross. You guys are funny. I don't condone that. Am I going to be on Edge of Wonder in Hawaii? Well, considering they're there now and I am not there, I don't believe so. I wish. I actually thought about going to that conference for a hot minute. It looked like a lot of fun. And I was trying to talk one of my girlfriends into going with me, and then it didn't end up working out. Maybe next year. It does look really cool. And who doesn't love Hawaii? It's beautiful. I hear that OJ sleepovers don't end well. Womp womp. Yeah. But yeah, maybe I'll get to interview those guys on my channel. There are a bunch of more people that I want to interview, but I'm kind of waiting until I have a few more videos because I feel very weird reaching out to people now and being like, do you want to be on my channel? I've got like 4 videos, and them being like, I don't even know what you do. Who are you? So, I mean, Robot Interiors was obviously gracious enough to come on here and let me interview her. But I do have like a little wish list going of people that I want to interview. And if you guys have any suggestions of anybody that you'd like to see me talk to, I don't even want to say interview because I don't know what I'm doing. I just have conversations. Then just let me know. I'm all for, you know, your suggestions on what you want to see me cover or who you want to, you know, see me talk to. Do I think Obama will be indicted? I really do. I really do think so. I think that a lot of what we're seeing play out right now in the mainstream media is a lot of theater to prepare us for what is coming. The 90,000 or 88, whatever it is now, sealed cases that I keep harping on, I harp on for a reason, and that is that it's so massive, and we know that something is happening. And, you know, just a couple other things, like, actually in that Neon Revolt article, I'm assuming it's a he, she, whatever, brings up a good point in that, you know, something that I've seen a lot before is that, like, the media has not asked Trump about Q. They ask him about every other thing. He also is not a shy man. He would be, I think, if Q were not legitimate, and taking pictures inside of the Oval Office and Air Force One, I think they might have something to say about that. And so, to me, that's one of the biggest Q proofs, is that it hasn't been addressed by either the president or the mainstream media, at least not directly to the president. So, so I think that big things, they are coming, and we know that those indictments have nothing to do with the Russia collusion narrative that we were being fed, and also with what Q has told us, and you know, everything is lining up. If you get back at a certain level and are viewing things, you are seeing all of the chess pieces move around into their ready positions for exactly what Q has been telling us all along. And so that's another reason why Q isn't so easy to just explain to somebody and be like, here, it's real. But if you've been paying attention to Q for a long time, 82,000 sealed, thank you. It really does appear to be kind of indisputable. And so that's why I get people that are new to it or haven't really looked into it, how it all sounds crazy. I am always suspicious of anybody that has looked into it and says that it's not real, because I don't know how that's possible for somebody to think that. And I don't believe that anybody that's really looked into it actually thinks that. I think that there are reasons that people in the mainstream media or people connected through them have, you know, reasons not to want anybody to look into it further or to believe that it's real. And when you realize how the media works, again, media is what I'm doing my next video on. I'm doing a bunch of research for that. A book that I recommend is Trust Me, I'm Lying. I have it over here somewhere. I forgot who wrote it. But anyway, Trust Me, I'm Lying. It's a really good look into how these people do these incredulous things, you know, to get stories that are false get them legs and get it moving and move it up the ranks to get eyes on it, and then they use their own sources kind of circled back to verify, and they're really just verifying each other and whatever. It's very interesting, and and then you see these donkeys that are making fake profiles. I remember when I was 15. Actually, the internet didn't exist when I was 15. Well, it did, but not like what it is now. Oh man, if the internet existed like this when I was 15, I might be embarrassing myself too, like that little guy did. How or what fake? Oh, IPOT or iPot or whatever. I don't know how you say that. I just started looking into that YouTube channel too. I mean, they're huge. I think they've got a ton of subscribers or whatever. Just because I don't know about something doesn't mean anything, because I don't know about anything when it comes to some of these things. I have like my people that I trust, and I read the Q things myself, and I come up with my own stuff, and I've got friends that I talk to in real life. So I don't really look at a lot of the YouTube channels, but I've had a lot of suggestions since I started doing this, which I really appreciate. They were one of them. I think they're doing great stuff. That Amazing Polly, I think her name is. I watched a couple of her videos yesterday. I thought she was really cool. She seems very bright, and I liked her take on things and her delivery. Will the trail lead to Soros? Everything goes back to Soros. I actually had a fun conversation with my friend the other day. Actually the same one that we were talking about, how the Anons are the Wookiees. We were kind of deciding like every single character, like what Star Wars character they would be. And I believe that Soros is Emperor Palpatine. And then I think Hillary Clinton might be Darth Vader, maybe Jabba the Hutt. And then the Clinton Foundation would be that monster that's like in the cave. Or no, I think they're the Sarlacc pit. What is life? I don't know. Have I ever spoken with people who have been truthers for 10 plus years and don't believe in Q? Might offer an interesting perspective. I have. Well, kind of. I've gotten messaged by people. I haven't had like legitimate long conversations with some of these people, but I'm interested in those perspectives. I'm interested in people that don't. What I do see are people that think that it's a psyop to basically to pacify people so that we don't do something about it. I think that time will tell if that is the case, and even if that is the case, you are alerting people, Q is alerting people to all of these things going on. So even if it's pacifying us for the time being, I don't think that would last long. I think that in literally within this next year, if we don't see some big things happening, ow, I'm sorry, my foot is asleep. I was sitting on both my feet. Oh my God, that hurts so bad. If we don't start seeing things happen, I don't think that people are just gonna sit here for the next 20 years, like that skeleton meme at the computer, like, surely they'll deliver. I think eventually, I don't know, something will happen, but at least people are waking up to this, and at least people are finding this information out. I am one of those people that had never heard about any of these things before. And I'm sure that it's very frustrating to people that have been awake for longer than Q has been around. To see, there's nothing new under the sun, and to see all these people now excited about things because this new Q thing came along, and to be regurgitating all this information that you've maybe had for a really long time would be frustrating. But as of right now, the way that I see things playing out, like I said, I see the chess pieces all lining up exactly the way that Q has kind of told us that they would, and I'm gonna watch. I mean, it really doesn't require much from us. But that, just to be paying attention and to be questioning and helping other people question too. And maybe it will lead to us helping other people kind of come to terms with what they are seeing unfold if things do get gnarly. Yes, Gandalf. I see that. Gandalf. That is one of the people on my wish list. There's another Anon that I had spoken with about interviewing them, and that was when I lost my voice. So I have to get back to them. But I think the Anons, you know, if they'd be willing to give me interviews, would be great to interview. I mean, they know so much, and yeah, I mean, I do get a lot of that. I do get a lot of people messaging me about how they've been awake way before Q came along, and that's really cool. And I think that we owe those people a lot for just like kind of being placeholders in the collective consciousness, if you will, of these things. And a lot of people have gotten, you know, if you think people getting ridiculed for Q is bad, I mean, these people had it a lot worse before Q came along. I mean, really, there are so much more of us now with Q and with Twitter, and we're able to find each other better, and you're not just some like lone person, you know, having a belief in something somewhere. I mean, this is an actual community. And because it's an actual community, I think that we can kind of sniff out when people don't belong, like I said. These people that are preaching hate or, you know, vigilante justice or whatever, they are not, they kind of seem like fish out of water to me. They don't really seem like they fit into the whole, you know, definitely don't fit into what Q says themselves, which is that this is about unity and to trust the plan. Q doesn't say, you know, grab your pitchforks. They say trust the plan. So, yar. MAGA riots. Idiots. Sometimes I catch just the end of people's conversations in here. A Q cheat sheet on how to bring topics up. That's a really good, that's a good question. As far as bringing these topics up to people, I know. I guess there are certain things I think that are good kind of gateways for people, in that there are things I think that everybody can see and believe. That's one of the reasons why I want to do the media. I think that even the people that are, you know, you've got 90% of the media owned by these corporations. I think even if these people are regurgitating the ideas that certain people believe with, I think even those people are kind of waking up to the fact that these people are not really to be trusted and that they keep doing kind of sketchy things. So that's kind of a good maybe, I don't know, you just you have to feel out who you are talking to, I think. And also, even if you are unsuccessful at first, or if it seems like you're being unsuccessful when you're talking to people about these things, just know that you've planted a seed, you know, and they might be the same people that come back to you eventually and think and say to you, no, tell me again I've actually had that happen a lot. And people coming back and being like, okay, I know I came after you for this, but tell me again, what is this? Or explain this better to me. I don't really understand this part. So, and also, the more people are seeing more people talk about these things, and it doesn't seem as if these are some, you know, crazy exceptions to the rule that believe these wacky things, if it starts to, you know, become more apparent that lots and lots and lots and lots of people believe this, follow this, understand this, or whatever, and are all seeing the same things, then it does, you know, lend credence to it. Oh, well, Michael is new and he has no idea what this channel is about. Well, welcome, Michael. I don't really either. Mostly this channel is about Q, Anon, and the Great Awakening. And I have some videos that you can look up that are on my channel that talk about those, that are good, like, places to get started. Yes, censorship. I see that. Yeah, censorship is really weird. I don't like it. And I don't really, and again, I don't really know what I can and can't say. I mean, I know there are a few things, a few terms that I know for sure to stay away from. But it does kind of seem like you don't really even have to cross a line. If you even come close to crossing a line, they can kind of do whatever they want to you and take down videos and stuff like that. So that's a big bummer. I've seen that happen this week, actually. I've seen it happen to some YouTubers just for talking about things, and that's very sketchy. Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody wants to know about my painting. I moved away from the office because the acoustics in there were just real stinky. They really were bad. So now I'm just like in a corner of my house with this weird dude behind me that everybody talks about. I don't know who he is. I liked his garb. Actually, I believe he was my mom's painting and I commandeered him. I like to pillage my parents' house. That's what I do. I'm a parent pirate. Do I say a lot? I'm really sorry. I'm still learning. Scottish. Actually, somebody wrote to me and said they don't think he was Scottish. They actually dug into this painting and it was very interesting. Oh, okay. He's kind of cute. His face isn't that cute. His clothes are cute. I think that was about all I had to say. If anybody's got any questions, I can maybe answer a question or two before I go. I think I covered mostly what I wanted to say. Oh, we've got fun people in here now. It was only a matter of time. And especially now that, you know, me and Praying Medic are obviously best friends. And all the people that I link that are obviously not to be trusted, now I am probably going to get more. And as the people that I know find my YouTube channel, it's just going to happen. We're going to get some trolls, guys. What's the biggest surprise discovery for me? You mean in all the Q stuff? I think, yeah, I don't know how to make mods. I think I made a couple the other day. Everything has been shocking to me. Everything that I found out since I started to research Q has been pretty shocking. I don't know if I've got one that is bigger than the rest. I felt like after a while, I just kind of got used to having my mind blown, to be honest. Oh, I said again. I'm so sorry. I'm learning. Oh, thank you. I do have a moderator. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna get going. This was fun. I plan on doing this at least once a week. And I will announce it better next time. Again, if you don't follow me on Instagram or Twitter, that's where I'll announce it before I go live. It's Kate_Awakening, I think, on both of them. So maybe do that. Yeah, smash that like button. This is so goofy. Okay, thanks you guys. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being so sweet again. And thank you for moderating, and thank you for your goofy comments, those who had goofy comments. Tell us a joke before you go. Yeah, no pressure. What did the elephant do when the grape sat on it? No, wait. What did the grape do when the elephant sat on it? He let out a little whine. Boo!